I'd like to verify that I have read the Daniel 2020 text in its entirety. I thoroughly enjoyed reading it and all the principles and values. So let's hop into the assignment. One code from the ACA Code of Ethics 2014 that is in harmony with my personal and spiritual beliefs is A7A. Code A7A is talking about advocacy, and this is a direct quote from the ACA Code of Ethics. It states, when appropriate, counselors advocate at individual, group, institutional, and societal levels to address potential barriers and obstacles that inhibit access and or the growth and development of clients. So before even entering the counseling program, I was all about advocacy. I don't know how much of an advocate I was beforehand, but I did not realize how important advocacy is in the therapeutic alliance. I also believe that it is biblical to be an advocate, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading through Daniel's text because of all of the biblical examples that were in it. There was one scripture verse that came to mind. It's not mentioned in our book, but it's Luke 7:36-50. Jesus goes to dinner at a Pharisee's house, and there's a woman there leading a sinful life, and she just falls down at the feet of Jesus, and she's crying, and she pours perfume at his feet, and everyone is looking at this, and they're shaming her. But Jesus advocates for her, and he says that this woman, this is me paraphrasing, but he says that this woman, she knows what she is doing, and she is forgiven. And there are countless examples throughout Scripture about how people have advocated on others' behalf, but it's really cool whenever we see Jesus doing it, because ultimately he is our ultimate example. Daniel 2020 on page 19, in the chapter regarding beneficence, the author writes, "It is the one core principle that takes me beyond just the client sitting in front of me. It requires me to see my client in the context of their world and moves me to change and advocacy on behalf of my client." So what I love about advocacy is that it helps the person directly in front of you, the client sitting before you. But when you're an advocate, you can help all of the people from that specific people group or the people with this specific belief set. You can help a group of people. And it reminded me of a quote from another textbook that I'm currently reading, Introduction to Counseling, Simmons et al. 2020. The quote is, this is on page 204, "To truly help the poor, you must advocate for their rights, helping them fight through a system that opposes their advancement, but also helping cease their own contributions to poverty cycles." This is specifically regarding people who are in poverty, but I just really love the end of it. Also, helping cease their own contributions to poverty cycles. Whenever you're advocating on behalf of something or someone, you are helping the group, not just the individual. And it just shows me the breadth that advocacy can bring, and that excites me. Now, on the flip side, a professional value that I am struggling with is veracity, which we can define as truthfulness with others. I'm struggling hardcore with this one. The reason why is because we are told as counselors, we follow the ACA Code of Ethics, we are told to put aside our own personal values. So in the Code of Ethics, A4B, it states, counselors are aware of and avoid opposing their own values, attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors. If I am in a counseling setting and there's a client sitting before me, for example, and they're Buddhist, and they want to press more into their Buddhist beliefs, as a Christian, I know what I believe is true. And if I help them and encourage them to follow what I know to be wrong, I feel like I'm not being truthful to themselves, to me, or to God. So this is something that I'm seriously struggling with. Also, in chapter 7, the chapter regarding veracity, the video at the end, the author stated something that I'm still struggling with. I think I disagree with, but she said, "I'm not the one that's really going to cause change in a client's life." And ultimately, yes, God is the one that brings about change, but I believe that God can use counselors as vessels, as stewards of change to help people. So I disagree. I believe that we can cause change in a client's life. Isn't that the whole point of counseling? To bring about change and growth? Not necessarily me, Sarah, inflicting the change, but God using Sarah to help the client to change and grow them for the better. So this is just a principle that a professional value that I'm seriously struggling with. But how am I going to work through this conflict? Prayerfully. I'm going to work through it prayerfully, pray about it. I am on the road to becoming a licensed professional counselor, and if so, then I must abide by the ACA Code of Ethics. I must put aside my personal views. If I want to explicitly talk about the gospel and Jesus, I could become a biblical counselor, a pastoral counselor. But another thing that I can do is discuss more with others who have gone before me, who are Christians and who have also struggled with this, who have struggled with sitting before a client and wanting to just share the gospel but can't. So thank you for listening today. Have a good day.